noon. This is considered as Kshanadikala, that based on your clock or the watch. Vyadhyavastha is Purana, Nava, Bala, Vriddha, Kshuda, Nadikshuda, Atikshuda, etc. These are the depending on the patient. So, while administering Vasti, we can consider both. Again, in the Kshanadi Vyadhyavastha, again Vyadhyavastha holds an upper hand. Always, whatever procedures you are going to do should be depending on the patient's condition. Baladishtanam arogyam, arogyartam kriyakrama. The arogya is baladishtanam arogyam. Arogya is considered that depending on the bala. And whatever procedure you are going to perform is for the purpose of arogya. So if you are not considering the bala of the patient and administer the Basti, administer any of the Shodhana procedures, surely it will have some adverse effects on the body. So that is why, coming to the Basti administration time, Nadik Shudartham. So if you consider Nadik Shudartha, 11 o'clock will not be a Nadik Shudartha, because nowadays all of us having 3 Annakalas. In olden days it may be true, because 2 Annakala only, they are having food at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, next meal at 7 o'clock. Now we have 3 Annakalas. Morning, in between 11 o'clock, lunch, 4 o'clock, dinner, and again in between some snacks, ice creams, etc. etc. So many Annakalas. But again, if you consider major Annakalas, again 3 are there. Breakfast is there, lunch is there, dinner. So if you skip the breakfast and keep the patient on empty stomach, he cannot tolerate that. Always there will be Agni Vriddhi will be there. He will be very much hunger. So that is not a suitable time for the administration of the Vasti. So if you consider that, we can administer the Vasti Dravya in the morning hours, no problem, on empty stomach. And if you want to administer the Vasti at Madhyane Kinchidavarti or Madhyana Kala, instead of administering Vasti at 11 o'clock, if you administer at 12 o'clock, that is Madhyane Kinchidavarti or Madhyana. 12:30 or 1 o'clock is Madhyane Kinchidavarti. If you keep the patient nil orally up to 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, what will happen? Surely it will be end up in Atikshuda and gastritis will be there. That is the first symptom we can see. So in such condition, you can advise the patient to have light breakfast in the morning. If you are administering in the noon time, you can ask the patient to have light breakfast. Some people say that they ask the patient to drink milk. But instead of a liquid diet, always some solid diet, Laghu Ahara, can be given in little quantity to prevent the Atikshuda. Then we can administer the Vasti in the 12 o'clock or 11. After 11 o'clock we can administer any time. Because if you take the breakfast at 8:30 or 9 o'clock, give 2 hours to get digested that food, then you can plan 9, 10, 11. After 11 we can plan the Vasti. Again, this is very much relevant in the patients of diabetes. Even Madhumeha is, Acharya says Madhumeha is contraindicated for Vasti, but in practice, many patients having low back pain or some other condition where Vasti is required may be associated with Madhumeha. In such condition, we are forced to administer the Vasti without troubling the Madhumeha. So, if a diabetic patient kept nil orally up to 11 o'clock, surely he will end up in hypoglycemic shock. So, always take care of the Vyadhyavastha also, Kshanadil Vyadhyavastha. Both should be considered before administering the Vasti Dravya. So, that is why we conducted a study in 2 groups. In one group, the Vasti Dravya administered in the empty stomach on morning, and another group around 12 o'clock. Dwadasha Prasrita Vasti was administered. Dwadasha Prasrita Vasti. Morning, empty stomach, without any food, Vasti is given. And 12 o'clock, in that group, morning, breakfast was given, light breakfast. 2 idli was given to eat, and 12 o'clock Basti was administered. And there is no significant change in the clinical efficacy in both groups, because here Shanadi Avastha, Vyadhi Avastha, both are considered in both conditions. On empty stomach in the morning and Madhyane Kinchidavarte after taking morning breakfast, when the food gets digested. So both conditions, both Shanadi Vyadhi Avastha is considered. So that is why we couldn't find any change in both groups. Okay. And that was one of the Pranidhana Kala, based on the Pranidhana Kala. Then coming to the Pradhana Karma, I think it's coming to the Pradhana Karma, the position is very important, as you know. The Vamashraye, Grahani Kuda is. So I am not going to detail into that discussions, because left lateral position is very important. If you see the anatomical position of our colon also, the rectum, ascending colon, sigmoid colon, transverse colon, descending colon, whatever it is. So the position of this colon is also very much favorable for the left lateral position, so that when we administer the Basti Dravya, with the help of gravitational force itself, it can move up to the transverse colon. So that is why, that may be the reason Acharya mentioned the left lateral position. Okay. So fixing of the dose, another important factor. Fixing of the dose. How we have to fix the dose for the Basti Dravya? When you are planning a Basti combination for a particular patient, whether you think that you do justification in dose fixation. Do you have any criteria to fix the dose? Generally, what I understood is, by seeing the patient, okay, since last 5 years, back pain is there. Okay. 500 ml Basti means. Then Kashaya, 300 ml, 100 ml Taiga, 100 ml honey, 500 ml total. I don't want to tell this in mic. This is happening, truly. Am I correct? Yes. Okay. We are not doing justification to the dose fixation. But Acharya given some criteria to fix the dose also. Acharya has given Vayanusara Matra. According to age, we can fix dose. That is one criteria. According to Dosha Bala, we can fix the dose. According to Vyadita Bala, Rogi Bala, we can fix the dose. But generally, Dwadasha Prasiddha is mentioned after a certain age group. For adult, Dwadasha Prasiddha is mentioned. At least the patient, assume the patient is having Madhyama Bala, Tikshna Vyadhi Bala is there, patient having Madhyama Bala. In such condition, we can go for Dwadasha Prasiddha. But in all conditions, it is not possible. So that is why Sharma Acharya says the Basti can be 3 combinations, 3 doses, Pravara Matra, Madhyama Matra, Avara Matra. So that is why we have formulated a table considering the Dwadasha Prasiddha Basti and considering the each ingredient dose by Chakrapani on the context of Balavaluchari Basti later. In that he says that how much Makshika for Vata, how much Makshika for Kapha, how much Makshika for Pitta, how much Taila for Kapha, Vata, Pitta. So this is the shloka. Madhusneha Kalkakhya Kashaya Avapadha Krama Trini Shat Dve Dasha Trini Palanya Nilarogina Trini Shat Dve Dasha Trini Pitte Chatwari Chatwari Dve Dvi Pancha Chatushtayam. For Madhusneha Kalka Kwata Avapa. Shat Trini Dve Dasha Trini Kafe Chati Rohana. Like that. According to the dosha also, the dose changes. This is for Dwadasha Prasiddha, but each ingredient's dose also we can vary based on the dosha involved. So that is why, considering these guidelines, Sharmadhara Acharya's guidelines of Pravara Madhyama Avara Matra, we have formulated a table and which is kept inside our Panchkarma theatre. So after seeing the patient, generally what we write, Erandamuladi Niruha, Vata Madhyama will be given. So the house surgeons themselves, they can formulate by seeing the chart. So for Vata, how much oil should be there? For Madhyama, how much it should be there? So from the chart, they can come to a particular dose. Some justification, we are trying to do that. And now it is taken as a PG study for fixing the dose. Only one criteria, Vata Madhyama dose fixation. We have taken as a PG study and the study is going on. Okay. So there are a lot of things we need to plan before we administer the Basti. Samiksha dosha aushadha desha kala. Many parameters are mentioned by Acharya before administering the Basti. But being a Panchkarma practitioner, being a Panchkarma postgraduate teacher, whether we are doing justification to these factors, we have to think that. Then Samyak Lakshana. After administration, we have to see for the Samyak Lakshana. Whether we are checking Samyak Lakshana? No, only evacuation we are checking. How fast it came, or at what interval it came out, whether the content came out. This much only we are looking. But Samyak Lakshana should be assessed. Each Basti, after each Basti. That is very important. So there is a reference in the text, in that Acharya says that even after one Basti, if you are not seeing the Samyak Lakshana, we can go for second or third dose of Basti also. But it need not be applicable for all the patients. If the patient's Bala is more, we can do that. Otherwise, it's not possible. Otherwise, at least in the course of Basti, Yoga Basti course or Kala Basti course, after giving 3 Niruha in Yoga Basti, after giving 6 Niruha in 5 Niruha in Kala Basti, whether we are achieving the Samyak Lakshana. Acharya mentioned Samyak Lakshana also. Prasishta Vinmutra Samyanatva Tuchak Nirudhyashe Laghavani. So Lakshanas are very clearly mentioned. Virechana Samyak Lakshana also can be adopted for Basti Samyak Lakshana. So now we are developing a tool to assess the Samyak Lakshana, validating the tool. The work already started. All these with the PG students, PG works we have taken. Because these are the required things to strengthen classical, standard, evidence-based Panchkarma procedures. This is very essential. Okay. So after going from here, when you plan to write a Basti, think about the dose. Whether I am doing justification to this patient, or at least to this procedure, think about that. Then give some justification. Give some yukti before you fix a dose for the Basti. Coming to the Panchkarma. So 30 Matra Kala is mentioned. 30 Matra Kala is mentioned. 30 Matra Kala is which comes around 3-4, maximum 5 minutes, not more than that. After that, Acharya Vagbhada says that the patient should sit in Utkatukasane, expecting the expulsion of Basti Dravya. Expecting the expulsion of Basti Dravya. Because the Niruha Basti need not be retained. If you lie down in a plain posture, sometimes it may get retained. So he don't want to do that. So that is why he says that the patient should sit in the Utkatakasana. Utkatakasana is squatting posture. And that is very much essential to put pressure over the abdominal muscles for the complete evacuation of the Basti Dravya. The European closet is not a favorable thing for the Basti evacuation. Then Muhurta Kala. Muhurta Kala is mentioned why? Because we should not exceed beyond the Muhurta Kala. Need not wait up to Muhurta Kala. It doesn't mean that up to Muhurta Kala Niruha Basti should be retained. It's not like that. If Niruha Basti is not coming out, even after the Muhurta Kala, surely that will end up in some complication. So that is why in my initial part of presentation I told, even soon after administration of Basti, Niruha Basti, if it comes out, no need to worry. Surely it will give some effect into the body. That is why Sushrutācharya says, Sachapi sahasa vasti, kevala samalopiva. Sachapi sahasa vasti, kevala samalopiva. While administering Basti, soon after the administration of Basti, if it comes out, how? Kevala Basti is came. Only Basti Dravya came, no Mala came. Only Basti Dravya came. Or Samalopiva, or with Mala Dravya, the Basti Dravya came. Virena Basti Radate. The Basti will give effect onto the body because of its Virya. How this Virya is circulated? Because of the Udana, Prana and Samana. It will take into the Tiryek Dhamani. Okay. Vrikshamule Nishiktanam Apam Viryame Badrumam. Very beautiful simile is given. Very poetical similes Sushrutācharya given in this context. When we irrigate at the root of a plant, how the water is taken to even the minutest part of that branches of that plant. Similarly, when we irrigate the rectum with Vastidravya, its action will be systemic. Its action will be Khair Deham Anusarpati. So it will be taken through the entire srotas to the entire body. Okay. So Muhurta Kala is for prevention of complication only, Acharya mentioned. Then Prasushta Vinmutra Samiranatvam. These are the Samyak Lakshanas we need to check after the Niruha Basti administration. Then Snana, Bhojana, Acharika Vidhi, then Anuvasana Basti. These are the Paschat Karmas. Snana in the sense, Snana, after the Basti evacuation, the patient has to take the bath. Because generally what happens is, soon after the Niruha Basti administration, if you plan the Niruha Basti in proper dosage form, if it is under dosage, nothing is going to happen. If it is in proper dosage form, dose quantity, if you administer the Niruha Basti, soon after the evacuation, the patient will have some sort of giddiness, slight weakness they feel, soon after Basti administration, because it causes sudden hypoglycemia in the body, because of the fluid loss. So that is why Acharya says that soon after the Snana, Mamsarasa or Yusha, Yavagu, all these things need to be given. Semi-solid diet, not very thick rice preparations. Instead, semi-solid preparation should be, which should supplement the water loss in the body and also the sugar loss. Okay. So that is why in diabetic patients on the first day, surely they will get some giddiness. But after bath, generally what we do is, if the patient is diabetic, 1 glass of rice water. While cooking the rice, the water will be collected in 1 glass. That will be kept in the Panchkarma theatre. So if anybody complains like that, generally we give 1 glass of water before bath itself. Within 1 or 2 minutes they will be normal. They will get the strength back and they can continue. Another thing what we have to consider is Acharika Vidhi. Acharika Vidhi in the sense, the same which is mentioned for the Snehapana, the Satyapratyas, or the regimes what we need to follow. Ushnodagopachari, Brahmachari, Kshapasya. Even though it is mentioned in the Sneha Vidhi, the same can be adopted for the Basti also. Sarva karmasu ayam praya vyadikshineshu chakrama. That is mentioned by Acharya Bhagavata. Sarva karmasu ayam praya vyadikshineshu chakrama. Very beautiful concepts because which is mentioned in the Snehapana context is applicable universally in various conditions. For all the Panchkarma procedures, all the Upakarmas, even for the Pindasveda, Shattikshali Pindasveda, Shirodhara, whatever it may be, this particular diet pattern can be adopted. That is the beauty of, that is the strength of that plan. Okay, Sarva Karmasu Ayam Praya, Vyadikshineshu Chakrama, not only for the procedures, even for the Vyadikshina. After the post-COVID pandemic, the situation, post-COVID situation, surely we can advise the patients to follow the Ushnodagopachari, this Acharika Vidhi. Surely it will give strength. The Samsarjana Krama is also like that. To strengthen the Agni, wherever Agni Madhya is there, we can go for the Samsarjana Krama. The same is adopted in the Jara Chikitsa also. The same Sansarjana Krama is adopted in slight modification in Jara Chikitsa when Mandagni is there. When Kapha Pitta conditions is there, Tarpanadi Krama is indicated. Same is adopted in the Shodhana. After Vamana, Kapha Pitta, Vishuddhi Alpi, Madhyavi, Vata Pettike, Tarpanadi Krama is indicated. So, whatever mentioned is very condition specific or very much specific to the patient's avastha. Whether it may be associated with Vyadhi or associated with the, after the procedure. Okay. So, Achalika Vidhi is also very important. Apart from that, we can also advise the patient to avoid the we can advise the patient to avoid the Ashtamaha dosha varjya kamas. Okay. Whether to stop now?
Yes, sir.
I think this presentation I will make it a little fast and finish. So evacuation, coming to the evacuation part. So I already told you, Vakpadacharya says Utkatakasana is very much important. Elimination becomes faster, easier and more complete if you sit in the Utkataka posture. Prevent fecal stagnation. That is very important. Nowadays some of the studies has also proven that when we sit and defecate in the European closet, the complete bowel evacuation is not going to happen. Some amount of stool will get stagnant in the last part of the colon and which is responsible for the colon cancer. Okay. So our traditional methods, Indian commode, actually it is Orissa commode, right? So the Indian method of squatting, defecation, the squatting posture is very much useful for the health. And again, in the Basti evacuation also, we should advise the patient to do that. So see the picture. So here, if you are sitting in a European closet, keep a stool. Nowadays, such modifications are done by these companies itself. They will keep a pad, some stand below the European commode, or some stools they will supply, so that the ankle will be maintained. So it will put some pressure over the abdominal muscle so that the evacuation will happen properly. See, sitting and squatting. This is the difference. In sitting posture, there will be some constriction in the lower part of the rectum so that the complete evacuation may not happen. But in squatting posture, that will be relaxed. So this is the importance of the anorectal angle. See, in the squatting posture, that will be straight line. But in sitting posture, there will be a slight angle will be generated. In that angle, the stool will get stagnant, some amount, and that may cause later some serious illness. So observations. So during the Basti administration, we have to see for the one of the serious complication is retention of Basti. Retention of Basti. So in the Panchkarma of Niruha Basti, we need not to do anything. Just ask the patient to lie down for 2 to 3 minutes or 5 minutes. If Vega comes in between, he can go and defecate. Otherwise, after 5 minutes, ask him to go to the toilet and sit in the squatting posture. So we need not to encourage him to hold the Basti Dravya to get more effect. It's not like that. Okay. So retention, pratyastapana. So if retention is there, we have to go for Tikshna Basti. Simple Gomutra Basti. Simple Gomutra, if you administer with the hot water, that will help to evacuate. Otherwise, Madanaphala. Simple Madanaphala outer cover, Macha. Just boil in water and put Saindava and honey and administer. It will help to evacuate.
Okay. So dose for?
That depends on the patient's age, how much quantity Basti you have administered initially. If it is Dwadasha Prasavati, little quantity of Gomutra may be sufficient. Maybe 100 ml or 50 ml also. But before that, again, one more thing. Before that, if the Basti Dravya is not coming out, we need not to think about another Basti first itself. Instead, we can do one more thing. Just insert the Basti Netra. After lubricating, just insert Basti Netra. Because this stimulus may help to evacuate sometimes. Then also if it is not coming, put some Phalavartis. Then also if it is not coming, go for the Pratyas. no Samyik Lakshanas. If it is not there, that I already discussed. Up to 2 to 3 bastis are advised, not more than that. Not 4 or 5 bastis we should not go for. So up to 3 bastis the same day we can. Okay. So this is the 2 pictures. It's not clear. It is available online. It's a published study from Pune, I think. Puttaka method, and the another is the Basti administered in the inner canal. Puttaka method, the Basti reaches up to the end of the transverse column, ascending column and transverse column. That up to that junction it reaches. But in Puttaka method, it reaches up to the descending column, middle of descending column, somewhere like that. Okay. So the procedure is also very important. Now we are thinking of developing a Basti administering instrument. Basti administering instrument. Automated Basti, self-applying Basti administration instrument. So because there is no uniformity while administering Basti. If he is applying Basti, he may put some pressure. If he is applying Basti, he may put little more pressure. Depending on their strength, the pressure variations may be there. So that is why it should be uniformly fixed, depending on the interrectal pressure. There will be a negative pressure also from the rectal root. So we have to consider that also. So we are thinking of developing an instrument for that. Some design is over. Now electronic part is also finalized. Now we are waiting for that column where Basti Dravya should be filled. We are waiting to get that part. So maybe within 4 or 5 months it will come out. Vyapat. Nati yoga kramadmana hikka hritvati urdhvaga pravahika shirongati parikarta parisva. Ati yoga klama admana hikka. This we can see these vyabhas if you are not administering properly. Hritprapti also to some extent. Urdhvaga. The Basti Dravya Acharya said if you give Basti Dravya more quantity in Evacuation, the Basti Dravya may come through the mouth. But we have not seen such cases. And Shiro Angarti. Shiro Arti also, Angarti also will be there. Generally, it happens because of the Atiyoga of the Basti, because of the excessive fluid loss happens. Then Parikartika. Parikartika is generally happens because of the Vaidya only. Because when we administer the Basti, Asamarthata Bhayakarana. Have you heard that? Agro Bharana, Charakacharya says that. Asamarthyatam Bhayakarana, for getting fear. Asamarthya. Anabhyase Bhayakarana. Lack of experience is responsible for the fear. So, if you administer the Basti Dravya for first time, or second time, or third time, after 1 month again, third time I am giving. So, how you will administer? Keeping the Puttaka? With shivering only you will administer, because you don't have experience. And what you will do? To fix the shivering, finally you will, suddenly you will prick it. So that will injure the rectum. Generally this is happening when the house surgeons or the PG students administer the Basti Dravya. So once in a while, because they don't have that much of time to devote for Basti and all. So that is why. So once in a while they may enter to the theatre and administer Basti. So this will happen. Asamarth, Anabhyasa. This fear, because of this, that is why Acharya is Akampana, Vepana, Laghavadi. Basti should be administered Akampana, Vepana, Laghavadi. It should be very lightly administered, without shivering. Without shivering. Because if you shiver and administer that, you are going to injure the marma, Buddha marma. It is marmasthana. Okay. So, even a small injury also will cause the perikartika, kartanavat pida. Then parisrava. Parisrava vyapat is generally like vamana itself. Murdu Koshta, Bahudosha, Murdu Aushada. That will end up in Vajasravi. Yeah. Some of the the present day generally is seen conditions like dehydration, one of the common, manage support with fluid supplementation, then giddiness, debility, restlessness. Because of the hypoglycemia also this may happen, debility, restlessness, etc. Then sometimes fainting also, patient may faint, sometimes